Hi guys, I'm Demetria, and today I'm going to be talking about my time teaching on Outschool and how I made over $30,000 teaching only 2 hours a week. So if you're interested in how I did that and why it was so enjoyable for me and how you can create an Outschool teacher account, then I want you to stick with me. So before I begin, I want you to hit that bell. I want you to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Okay guys, so I just want to start by saying that this channel has so much information about so many different things because I am multi-passionate, okay? So right now in my life, I am focused more on podcast coaching. So you'll see a lot of my business videos if you're watching this channel a lot. And I've been interviewing my guests about business and entrepreneurship for women. But here's something that I've been working on the side, very, very part-time, and it's being a preschool teacher on Outschool. Now, I've taught kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade on Outschool. I also taught third grade as a private school teacher during the pandemic year, and I've homeschooled my kids for over 16 years. So I know a lot about education. I also had my bachelor's in child development. So that is why the attraction to the 3 through 5-year-old group. So on Outschool, this is what I've been doing. And first of all, this video is about how I actually made that money and the processes that I used. So I want to preface this by saying that the amount that I just quoted you is very, 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 very part-time. Sometimes I only worked an hour a week. And I didn't really put in a lot of effort to try to make some money. So if I had done a lot more teaching on Outschool, I would say that I probably could have reached that six-figure mark, but I wasn't trying to because I had other things I was working on. However, there are people on Outschool that have made six figures, and I'll probably link them below. I think teacher Jade is one of them. So if you want to check out the stuff that she's been doing, just so you know, Outschool it's a real thing, and you really can have a nice side gig, a side hustle teaching students online. So 30,000 pales in comparison to what others have made on Outschool, but I just wanted to put that number out there so you can see this is real. You can make it work if this is something that you think you would enjoy doing. Also want to start by saying before I get into the content, please, if you're interested in starting your Outschool teaching journey, you can look below in my description box for my teacher affiliate link. Sign up with my link, okay? And we're both gonna get some bonuses. And so we're just gonna be able to work together like that. So go ahead and use my affiliate link below. Now I'm gonna start with tools and resources. I'm just going to show you some things I use in teaching preschool. So I have my alphabet board, which you can't really see that well right now. It's kind of chopped off here in the camera frame, but just imagine there's the whole board and there's flannel. So I like to hold these up for my students so that they can tell me what their name starts with, what letter, what sounds the letters make. We have my flashcards. I have lots of tools. I'm just showing you a few of them. I have my handy dandy drum, and I integrate music in my classes. I love singing and I love songwriting. So I wrote a song for my welcome song, and it's copyrighted and it's my song. So this is how I welcome my students. I beat the drum and we sing our welcome song, okay? And they know that every week they're gonna get the welcome song, and it includes each of their names. So they feel special as they're entering the classroom. And then I have my wonderful little puppet who is with us every single week, and his name is Jerry, and he talks, but I'm not going to make him talk right now. And he greets all of the students in the class. So they love Jerry. He hops on my shoulder, and we have story time with him on my shoulder. We dance together, we sing together, we chant, we do alphabet, we recite numbers. I have these cards And they are months of the year cards, oops, upside down, and days of the week cards. So we recite these every single week. We talk about the weather. So these cards, we ask them to look out. I ask them to look outside their window to tell me what the weather is where they live. I have students living in Canada where it's snowing a lot. I have students that are living in the UK and students right here in the United States. I had a student in India. So it's amazing what you will learn by talking to each of your students and asking them what the weather's like. They'll tell you where they live. And they're not supposed to share like the specifics of where they are, but I love that they're open about sharing, like, this is what it's like over here, and it's cold or it's hot. And so we talk about all kinds of things. So just to share a little bit about my journey, I started on Outschool officially in 2019, but I didn't really start getting serious about running my classes until 2020. So when COVID hit, I hit Outschool right away and really tapped into what I knew was going to grow during the pandemic. So I started my preschool classes with just one class. And when that class filled up, and I do mean filled up to the max, like I took 10 students. When that class filled up and it filled up quickly, then I opened up another section. And when that class filled up, I opened up another section. So I had 4 25-minute sections, which is a total of 2 hours. And I charged what Outschool recommended you charge for a 25-minute class for that age group. And so with time, I increased my prices just a little bit, but I started at the base level. With time in 2021, charging more really paid off because I lost a good bit of those students from the pandemic to the public schools or the private school systems in their area, which is understandable. As a parent, if I had a 4-year-old, I would not want my 4-year-old online all day long, class after class after class. So the pandemic really opened up kind of a can of worms, so to speak, because so many kids were online all day that it could be a little addictive and also not healthy for them. So I was glad to present a class that helped them academically and that was fun and entertaining. But I understood when their parents were saying, we got to put them back in school. I understood that too. So I was prepared to embrace the changes of 2021 and beyond that would happen on Outschool. Outschool, it has fluctuated a lot and things are not what it used to be. So it's not as easy to get those students as it used to be, but it's still possible. And depending on your niche, if you choose to teach older kids, for example, and you have a specialty in a certain area, maybe you're teaching songwriting or maybe you're teaching English and literary analysis, you may have more of a chance of gaining a real sort of cult following on Outschool as opposed to what I did, which is more of a kind of free-spirited entertainment thing for 4-year-olds as they're learning their ABCs. These kids grow out of preschool. And whereas if you're going to teach 10th graders, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, you could teach them literary analysis for 3 full years. It doesn't have to just be in their junior year or their sophomore year. You could still be teaching the same content so they stick with you for longer. So that's a tip for you if you're thinking about teaching on Outschool and want to retain your students for longer and not have such a high turnover rate. Also, if you're teaching piano or songwriting or voice lessons, or if you're teaching guitar or something like that, you probably could keep your students a little bit longer than I do. So that's just a tip for you. I'm going to give you the steps that I used to get everything going on Outschool back in 2020. So the first thing I did was I created a lesson plan. And from that lesson plan, and I had in mind that it was going to be 25 minutes. So I created a lesson plan that was specific what we would do for every 5 to 10 minute block. And because I have younger students, their attention spans are very short. So I had to make a lot of my activities last only 2 minutes or less. So there's a lot of jam-packed activities within 25 minutes. We're going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. It's very quick, but it's also fluid because all of my activities tie together. But I have to understand, their attention span. So you have to look at the students that you're wanting to teach and see how that is. But that's the first thing, is create a lesson plan that you think will meet the needs of your students and their age level and maturity level. Once you create your lesson plan, then you need to format it in such a way that Outschool is going to accept that lesson plan. So you need to submit your plan to Outschool and they will review it. A lot of times they're going to kick it back to you and say you need to make some changes. I've had to make so many changes. So they'll kick it back to me and say, nope, you need to, you need to fix something, whether it's explain a little bit more in detail how I'm going to have the interaction with kids in the class, how they're going to interact with each other. Is there any homework? You have to be very specific. And so once they give it to me, I do my edits, I return it. Sometimes I get it back for a third edit or a fourth edit. And so it can be a little bit, weird at first. You might feel like, oh, why aren't they accepting it? They're rejecting my lesson plan. Don't give up. After you just correct exactly what they tell you to, after the third or fourth time, there should be no more. You should be okay. And they will accept your lesson plan if you correct everything that they tell you to correct. And if there's something you don't understand, you need to reach out and ask, like, I don't understand. I thought I changed that already in the lesson plan. So just do exactly what they ask, and then your lesson will be approved. And then you can run your class. You can go ahead and publish it and pick the dates that you want to run. What I love about Outschool is you choose the time, you choose the dates that you run your class. I prefer ongoing classes, but you can also offer structured classes that are for a period of time that meet, once a week for 6 weeks, or once a week for a semester, or twice a week for a semester, and you choose the pricing. So this is really up to you. The thing that Outschool does, though, they take a 30% cut. So you're only going to get 70% of it. So price accordingly to how much you think you should get out of teaching that class and how much you think parents are willing to pay on Outschool. Also remember that a lot of the 30% fee in the beginning, I felt like was going into marketing because they were really marketing my classes. Now my classes aren't being marketed so much. I barely, I barely see my classes listed or showing up in the search results. So that's kind of disappointing because in 2020, my classes were constantly being marketed on the mailing list or being marketed somehow where it showed up in search results. But things have changed, and the Outschool market's a little bit more saturated than it used to be. There's a lot more educational institutions that are on Outschool now, so you're kind of competing with not only more teachers, not only more people that are on Outschool to teach, but also institutions that are on Outschool as well. So that kind of lowers your chances, but of getting seen. However, they do have something for new teachers that the algorithm tries to promote your classes a bit more if you're a brand new teacher. So it can be helpful to you starting off to get that extra boost. The second thing I did was to organize all my resources and all of my tools, like I just showed you, to know exactly what I wanted to have in class that day and what I was going to be teaching. And then thirdly, I created an order of service. Okay, so this is what I'm going to offer, and this is how the class will run. I'll do my welcome song, and then we'll go straight into weather. I'll have my weather cards, and then we'll go straight into maybe a singing and dance time. We'll do our alphabet. So I have all of that in order. I write it out in an outline. I paste it on the wall in front of me so I can always glance at it and see what's next, because you have to constantly be moving and know what you're doing next. The fourth thing is to really have good communication with the parents. So parents are going to be asking lots of questions. Parents sometimes don't understand like how your class works, so they will come into your inbox on Outschool and ask specific questions, and you need to reply to them right away. It's called good customer service. So if you let the parent know that you care about their questions and you want to get their questions answered, they like you better as a teacher, and they'll repeat buying classes from you. So I've had a lot of parents ask me, can you please just offer something else for my kid? Like, I would buy all your classes if you offered more classes other than just the preschool class. So I've had parents ask me to teach tutoring, or to teach reading, tutor their kids reading, or just to open up a songwriting workshop or a voice class, just anything that their kid can be in, just because they liked my teaching style. So that's something to think about and keep in mind, that you will develop a relationship with the parents that really, really just like you. Also have good communication with your students. So, Age level is everything. The age that you choose to work with is going to make a big difference in how you feel about your classes. I chose the 4 and 5s, the 3s, 4s, and 5s for a reason. I really like that age group. They're so special. They're so sweet. They're so innocent. And their parents are nearby, so they're not going to give me much trouble in class. So their parents are there to help guide them anyway. So that's helpful to me. And because they're so sweet, they ask innocent questions, and I never have to worry that there's any ulterior motive in how they're interacting with me. So I just really enjoy that age group and teaching them. And they have just a desire to learn, a thirst and inquisitiveness to learn. And so I just love them. Now, the older kids, as they've gotten older, I have taught up to 3rd grade on Outschool. And the older they get, the little bit more vocal they are about being bored, or when is this class over, or I already learned that last year, or whatever, like questions and commentary that you have to be prepared for older kids, because they voice their opinions. So that's kind of why I chose the younger kids, because I want my experience in teaching Outschool to be whimsical and fun and magical and lovely, and feeling like it's very, very little work to do. I didn't want to feel like I was doing work when I did Outschool, and I wanted it to be easy money, and it is. So that's the other thing I wanted to share, is that once you have your lesson plans created for, let's say, 6 months, then you can do 6 more months of lesson planning. So once you have your lesson plans that you have been able to run for an entire year, you can recycle those lesson plans and do it all over again for year number 2. And that's what I do. And so I don't lesson plan anymore. I haven't lesson planned since like the end of 2020. So I have everything organized in my Google Drive. So in my docs, I have a document for pre-K lesson plans for the month of December. So for this month, I just whipped out my December lesson plan, and I plugged and played. And it's plug and play. I just print it out, or just write down the little outline for each week, and I just stick it on my wall. And on that Monday morning, I show up and I run the class. And so it's, for me, very, very easy 25-minute money. And also, the name of the game is numbers in Outschool. So numbers, multiplication. If you have one student that you're teaching at a rate of $10 for 30 minutes, or $20 an hour, for example, if that's your choice, if that's your rate, you could be charging more than that. I've charged $35, $40 for some classes. So depending on what you're teaching, right? Let's just give a number, $20, for example, for an hour. If you only have one student, you just make $20 for that hour. 20 times 4, that's $80. That's not a lot of money for the month, right? But if you fill up that class, and let's say you want 5 students in the class, then you've just made $100 in 1 week. But let's fill it up to 10 students. Let's say you get 10 students, okay, and you can handle 10 students. So 10 students times that $20, that's $200 a week, and then $200 a week times 4 weeks, that's $800. And you've only worked once a week. And then you multiply that and say you want to do that same thing 3 or 4 times throughout the week, you can make more money, right? I mean, kind of the sky's the limit. But the thing is to be realistic. We're not in a season where a bunch of people are rushing to Outschool to take classes like they used to during the pandemic. So always be realistic, and keep in mind that you will want to also have your own business on the side, right? Outschool is just like an extra something, right, for some pocket money, but you don't want to count on it. I mean, in my opinion, I know some people have really used Outschool as their foundation, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. I feel like it's not stable enough. I really need to have that be a side gig. And then the business that I have been building as my coaching business, I feel like that's more something that I can hold on to. Like, yes, this is mine. I've got my list. I've got my people, and I can market to them more effectively, teaching them some concepts that I enjoy teaching, like podcast coaching. Whereas this is just my fun thing. So I want to share that with you. So in case you're interested in teaching on Outschool as a side gig, I want you to go ahead, use my affiliate link, sign up as a teacher using my link, and we will both benefit mutually from this transaction. And you will have now an opportunity to begin making some extra cash on Outschool. So if you need any assistance, if you have questions about Outschool, there's lots of information on YouTube and Google about it. There's lots of people out there who are making big money on Outschool. You can ask them, but you can ask me, because I'm going to tell you straight up like what it is and what the experience is for me, and some pitfalls, things to look for. I've submitted probably a good 20 or so lesson plans to Outschool, maybe a little bit more, because I've taught several different types of classes, not just preschool. But preschool has been my main thing. So if you need information on how to get your classes accepted, how to get them accepted after they've been rejected, I can help you through that process. It's just a mindset and seeing what it is they're looking for, and I can help you through that. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me here on the channel, and then let me know how I can help you. I'm also going to leave my email address in the description box so that you can personally email me if you have questions about Outschool, because I do want to help you. I have helped a few people already who got started on Outschool, and they're so grateful that they have gotten started, because now they have this extra piece of income, this side gig that they can do. They can turn it on or turn it off at any time of their life. It's not anything that they're committed to for life per se, but it's something they can do. And like I said, like, it's very flexible. So if you want to run your class at 3 in the morning, you can. Like, that's what's amazing about it. You will have students probably that are way across on the other side of the world, but if that fits your schedule and that's what time you want to run your class, you're welcome to do that. There's no restrictions on when you run your class. There's no restrictions really on how much you charge, although there's recommendations and guidelines, and there's no restrictions on how long and how often you run them. So if I choose to step away from Outschool for 3 years and come back in 3 years, I can do that. So that's what I love about it. So anyway, I hope to hear from you if you're interested in Outschool, and I will be back on another video to talk more about educational stuff and then more about business stuff. And that's all for now. I'll talk to you later. Bye.